All right. You know it. Spider-Man No Way Home is out. It's in theaters for the folks for the first minute.
We gotta go to the premiere.
Yes, of course. We were there with Straw Hat, Goofy, and Soups was really loud. No, but spoiler, we're not... Okay, first minute here. We're going to try not to spoil anything. We are not going to spoil anything. But very quickly, this will devolve into a spoiler review.
We'll give a warning when we're going into the spoiler review.
To sum it up, this is the Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is a perfect representation of who Spider-Man is as a character.
Exactly.
It is incredibly emotional. There are parts that will shock you. You laugh. The comedy is on point, and the ending is poignant and an incredible setup for the future of Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yeah, like it's just, it's everything. Like with the other ones, I was hesitant because I still with the other ones don't feel like they went all in where they should have. This one just did it all.
This is it. Like it delivered in every sense of the word. I'd say you can truly go into this with your expectations on the roof, and it will probably still blow you away. I'm not even kidding. About a day ago, they started coming out with the reviews, and I got hyped as hell because I heard so many good things about this movie, and my expectations were all the way up there. And I'm still blown away by what this did for the character, the cinematography, the characters, the action. Perfect.
I also feel like they did a really good job of not bottling him in the MCU. Like
no,
it felt like
it's the perfect MCU movie in the sense that it exists in the MCU. That's clear, but it's not annoying. It's not like this is the MCU Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man in the MCU, and there's a difference. And this one understands what everybody's been saying in terms of criticism. Takes into account, Stark is present, but not in the way he isn't Far From Home.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Stark is a force that would live on.
Yeah, but it also doesn't even feel like it's necessarily Tom Spider-Man in this movie. It feels like it's more Happy.
Yeah.
It's not
Happy
like
is more of the Stark, pipeline or whatever you want to call it. So, overall, that's, I think, our non-spoiler thoughts.
Performances were out of the world. Willem Dafoe fucking kills it.
Of course. Oh, yeah, I forgot it. That's not a spoiler.
We need to talk about the performances.
Willem Dafoe... I said for about a year or two now, once I got into film, Willem Dafoe is my favorite actor. And this movie cements it. That man fucking bodies the role. I think he is better than he was in the first Spider-Man movie. Mm-hmm. Which is, by the way, my second favorite performance he's ever done. So, pretty high praise.
So wait, is this now your second favorite?
This is probably second.
And then Lighthouse.
Lighthouse is probably number one.
Bro, what, I can't think of a single line where I was like kind of cringing at.
Really, and like the Scooby-Doo line could because he actually says shit instead of crap, but like that was maybe the closest thing to a cringe line, and it wasn't at all how it played out in the movie.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like the normal MCU kind of humor. It felt like actual humor.
It's like Spider-Man has that Spider-Man humor, and it feels more like a Spider-Man humor than an MCU humor. Mm-hmm. Even though I still personally think that the Tom Holland's trilogy is the funniest, like objectively, of the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
I think they land the comedy the best. But this one, comedy in terms of MCU as a whole, is maybe the best we've had in a long time. Mm-hmm. It takes its tone seriously, and it does not undercut emotional moments. It either builds them up or, eases you out of them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of emotional moments in
this. Yeah, I was pretty much crying the entire second half.
But, that's what Spider-Man is. So, I hope they continue with, emotional moments.
Of course, yeah. Once something happens in the... about the turn of the second act, I was about to cry then, and then this continuation of acts continue to occur, and they keep on making me emotional. Not all of them necessarily because they're sad, but joy. It has payoff. It is really the Spider-Man Endgame.
Yeah.
When they said that they meant it, it is the finale of Spider-Man as a character. Not to say that there isn't a definite future that this sets up, but this feels like it really gets it.
They really made him mature up in this one as well.
I think when people say it recontextualizes the trilogy, it's true.
I feel like because like they kind of try to do the responsibility thing in these other movies. I just feel like it wasn't done right, and this one did it perfectly.
Yeah. I do believe truly that this did what I really hoped it would do, which was make Homecoming and Far From Home better by what it does for the character.
That shot in the rain though, from the trailer even.
Yes, yeah,
it's so much even better in the movie. Oh my god, it's so nice.
Yeah, I haven't read every comic, but there are definitely panel references.
Oh yeah,
and it's really great, really great. So I think I've come close enough to spoiling certain aspects.
I think it's time for the spoiler part of this review.
We got 5 minutes of non-spoiler. Spoiler time, baby.
Let's start with the big thing.
Spider-Man, baby.
Spider-Man or Spider-Men?
Men.
It's
you know
Spider-Man.
it. They're back. They're back. They're full force. It's incredible how they just slip back into it. And what's so crazy to me is not only do they slip back into the Peters, but they're evolved Peters.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely pick up not too far after the last time we see all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But there is time passage, and I think there's a really Toby is that like he's older. It's acknowledged even. Doc Ock is like, you're not that little boy anymore, and like that hit me really in the feels. I'm like, yeah, he's been places. He talks about how he's back with Mary Jane officially, so that beautiful dance at the end of Spider-Man 3, we know it goes somewhere. And then I think the best line that like any of them get is when Andrew reveals, and I don't know if we are supposed to have seen this or this comes after Amazing Spider-Man 2, but he's like, I just fell into like rage.
Oh, and he stopped pulling his punches.
But,
that part was great.
Yeah, he says he stopped pulling his punches, which is kind of set up for what's going to happen with Tom in this movie. But yeah, that incredible line. And so he does acknowledge the fight with Rhino, which makes me assume he finished that fight. Mm-hmm. So I can assume that he stopped pulling his punches either during or after that fight. So incredible line. And then I think we should talk about the big death.
Aunt May, bro. I'm shocked, but at the same time, I should have seen it coming.
Should have seen it coming, but what's amazing is you don't, and you know, I do think this is a very solid Aunt May. She doesn't get any part like Rosemary Harris did in Spider-Man 2 with that incredible scene where she's like, you know, there's a hero in all of us, you know, that is Spider-Man, but it's really emotional. And I think what sells it is probably Tom.
Yeah.
Because this is a showcase that Tom has been pushed right now. Like, you know, he's in Uncharted. He was in Cherry. He's trying to, like, push for his, like, Oscar movie. His movie. But, like, this could be an Oscar
This better be. Like,
this could be an Oscar nom for him. He really sells every bit of emotion. He gets his ass beat by the Green Goblin.
Oh, my God. Destroyed.
After that, he has the mask off almost the entire movie, and it is some of the best Spider-Man acting. Mm-hmm. It's up there with the Gwen Stacy death. You know, so
I just also think that like, it's perfect how it's not even just his villains who are against him.
Yeah, and
everyone's against him.
Everyone's against him. I think because you know there was definitely I had a fear for sure that like them going with them. I think we talked about this a couple of times. Them going with the multiverse is going to completely undercut him getting unmasked. Mm-hmm. But it is not at all because constantly, probably due to J. Jonah Jameson's narration, is it confirmed that, you know, this is a problem he is having. Everyone is against him. That first scene when he's unmasked is stressful as fuck. And, like, there's the one take when they get into the apartment. All that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's...
And then at school and stuff and everything.
At school...
You can see some of his teachers are against him.
Yeah. It's such a cool, like they have that battle. Of course... I mean, maybe I would have liked to see more, but I think that it helps that it's like he very quickly, because his lesson in this movie is really learning that power and responsibility. Mm-hmm. I think it helps that they say it, but his first thought is like, who's the guy that can fix this for me? Mm-hmm. But what he learns throughout this movie is he has to fix it.
Yeah.
Which is Spider-Man. That is Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. And then villain-wise, though, clearly you can clearly tell that Marvel's favorite were Doc Ock, Green Goblin, and Electro.
Yeah.
Because remember, Kevin Feige loves Electro.
Here's what I think. I think they couldn't get Sandman, the actors, because I'm 99% sure when they become human, that's taken out of Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 1, respectively. I could be wrong.
I don't know about Kurt Connors, but I think
Thomas Hayden Church,
that
100%. Because I
Sandman,
kind of
'cause
remember that.
in Oswald he looks like the exact same.
And if you've seen, no offense to Thomas Hayden Church, but he is definitely older now.
Yeah.
Not in a way that Alfred Molina is older.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, who looks fucking incredible. Another thing that I was a bit nervous about was if he was gonna look janky. CGI, perfect in this movie.
Yeah.
They fucking did it. And there is no like nanotech endgame shit going on or Professor Hulk in some scenes. Like this is on point every scene.
They really never answered the lizard question though.
Which one?
Did he die?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. My headcanon is that he becomes Lizard again and Andrew kills him. Because in the movie, do they say that their fate is to die to Spider-Man? Because that's in the trailer, but in the movie, but that's two clips pieced together.
I'm sure we'll get an answer eventually.
Um,
Maybe he'll be in another movie.
I hope so. But yeah, I mean, I guess let's talk about the villain. So Green Goblin, I really loved what they did with him.
Yeah.
So it's they go very much and lean into that, like Norman Osborn and Green Goblin are two different people, which I really like that aspect of the character. And the way that I like when they explore Harry as like a drug metaphor. I like when they do that, like split personality for Norman's Green Goblin. I like that there's separate themes going on there. And holy shit. Like, so the first time we see him, he's like in an alley. He destroys his helmet. You're like, oh shit, like, are they gonna, like, is this gonna be different interpretation?
I knew he'd be still very bad.
You know he's gonna turn, but like, the question is when. And that there's a scene where he gets like, Spider-Man, I love how they did the spider sense out the way.
Oh,
it's like this vertigo effect. They dolly in and zoom out, and it's like...
It was a very interesting way of doing it, for sure.
It's awesome. So then he starts, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, something's happening. And
that moment where he... Oh.
And then he flips, and Willem... Oh my god, he fucking...
Here's the thing is, though, like, you can't even tell when he goes back to Green Goblin.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It is incredible. The way he... Because, like, what was so amazing in the first one was that, like, mirror scene. Where in, like, one take, it flips, and he's, like, two different people. Because he's the best actor of all time. But in this one, he does something even maybe more incredible, where he seemingly transitions, like, without... You can't tell. He goes from Norman to Green Goblin.
I'm a little surprised that we didn't see more of Toby and Norman together.
Yeah, they didn't really even acknowledge it at that part where he stabs him, kind of in the opposite way that he gets stabbed in the first one. But it's whatever, you can only do so much.
I thought they were about to kill Toby.
I really did. But yeah, and then he kind of gets this really cool goblin suit, and I personally enjoy the fact that he doesn't... I like the mask. Listen, I love the mask, in fact. But I wouldn't trade the mask for Willem's face for the world.
I wish we would have been able to see the mask like one more time.
Maybe one more time.
Like in one more scene, because we just see it in the beginning and then we destroy it.
It's all right. You got the first one for that. Every fight with Green Goblin versus Spider-Man, maybe the best fight in any Spider-Man movie.
It's so good.
It is brutal.
Yeah,
the most brutal. I think it's the most brutal action put to screen in Spider-Man
the
movie.
most brutal would probably be the first Spider-Man.
The first Spider-Man is really, they beat the shit out of each other, don't they?
But
in this one, I just love the style of fighting. The way that Tom uses his webs is so creative in this one. And, like, there's a lot of, like, flips. Oh, my. It really is incredible. The way they use height in it.
Yeah. I also think... Well, I was surprised about how perfectly they got each of the Spider-Man's fighting styles in this.
Yeah, because, like, they feel very... The way that Andrew swings, it uses a lot of, like, going through stuff and spinning around.
Which is what he does. And then also the part where he webs up the lizard. He does that, like, the fast web again. Like how he does in his movies, which I thought was perfect.
And Toby's got that, like, more grand style.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously due to how they, like, shot those back in the day, but you feel that. And Tom, who really hasn't had his own style, now gets this, like, really brutal hand-to-hand thing, which I fucking love. It's great. And then we have Doc Ock, who, again, I love what they did because he really isn't a bad guy in any sense of the word. And it's not going to ruin watching Spider-Man 2 because his arc isn't undercut. It's only, how do I put it? Like, added upon, like, given a second flavor.
It's not even just like that. They don't undermine it at all.
Yeah.
I don't think they necessarily add anything to it, but I don't think they undermine it. It just shows more that he was not in control. It was the chip.
Like, I love the part in Spider-Man 2, of course, but I think I prefer when he turns good in this movie because there's such like a
Well, it's because so much time has passed between him and Toby. As
Yeah.
well, then like
Yeah.
like it leads to that moment, which I think
of
was
course
really good.
yeah, as we said, and that and I really like. I mean, I love the design of the arms in the first in Spider-Man 2, and I like the nanotech, but I do like that for the finale, it gets rid of them and gives him that incredible like mix of technology and like leather suit or whatever.
Jack, we gotta talk about the new suit.
Hang on, no, we'll save the end for the end.
bro,
We got
I'm
let's
just
stick with the
getting so
villain.
excited
Let's
to
stick
talk
with the
about that.
villain theme as we're going through
Oh
this.
my god.
Then we got Electro, who I really like his arc here. He has really good like moment at the end where he just continues to express the fact he's like, no, I'm not. Nobody cares about me. Like nobody does. And Andrew gets like the moment where he gets to sit down with him and not have to worry about him killing him and be like, no, people do.
I think
that's
it,
like the
I think it
Miles
also kind of
reference.
makes I also think it kind of makes Amazing Spider-Man 2 a little bit better because it just shows that like he just really wanted to see himself in a hero.
It helps, yeah, because it's just able to acknowledge it from like removed from the movie itself. You know, they're able to acknowledge how kind of silly the eels are in a good way, and stuff like that. Also, I love the arc reactor thing.
Yeah.
The yellow lightning looks sick.
Yeah, it really does.
Um,
It makes sense because he's like that was a new element that Tony made.
Yeah,
You remember, so it's like
and I love
obviously
how,
it's gonna feel a lot different.
I love how he acknowledges Doc Ock. You know, acknowledges he's like, this is what I was trying to create. Like that's so cool. And then briefly, Sandman and Lizard. They don't get as much again as I don't think they could get the actors back. But they're solid, of course. I think Sandman has a beefier role. I don't think they really had much to do with Lizard, which makes sense. I think, you know.
And then there's in the scene where you see more people coming in. We could see Rhino for sure. I feel like but it did not look like Andrew's Rhino.
No. And then there was like another Spider-Man with arms.
Spectacular Spider-Man.
Wait, another Spider-Man with arms. It's probably Superior Spider-Man, Doc Ock Spider-Man. Yeah, it's wow. There's probably a bunch of Easter eggs in there that you could try to find. But yeah, that's the villains. I guess we can touch. I mean, and this does a lot for MJ and Peter.
Yeah.
Like a lot. What else? Ned's great. So
You don't feel like their relationship. You don't feel like they're too involved necessarily.
No, they're not as involved. I was nervous. Another thing I was nervous by was like the FaceTime phone thing, but it's not only is it quickly discarded, but it's well explained and has a good purpose. That's only in one scene, of course. Also, the multitude of suits didn't feel as intrusive as maybe before.
Well, because the black suit was there for like one scene.
Yeah, and then it all makes sense. It's not like where he gets like the Spider-Man noir suit thing, which I still like. You know, it's not. I don't know.
The Spider Monkey suit.
Spider Monkey suit. I like it, but you know.
Yeah.
Anything else? Yeah, I was pretty much just crying the entire time.
Just performances from everyone, amazing.
Yeah. Also, I love that they acknowledge, they deliver on everything in terms of like the conversations. What were these three Spider-Man talk about? They talk about Uncle Ben. They talk about the fact that Toby has, organic weapon. He even asks like, does it only come out of the wrist?
Like all the conversations we wanted to happen happened.
Their chemistry's on point.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to see what they're gonna say about Andrew and Toby are gonna say about this.
I'm just excited to see what they say about it.
And
then also, I think
brief appearance of Matt Murdock.
Yes.
And
then when he catches the thing, he's like, "I'm just a really good lawyer."
He's great. It feels just like the one from the TV show when he would be a lawyer. I'm super excited, paired with the Kingpin on Hawkeye episode 5. I'm super excited to see the future of that.
I think it was also really funny how like Tom had his hand up too, but like he caught it before Tom could.
Spider Sense, I think obviously
really
he
well.
learned a lot in Far From Home, so it's very neatly used.
Yeah.
And then Doctor Strange is incredible, and I think that John Watts, as I said to John, does the mirror dimension.
Me John. John Watt.
Does the mirror dimension better than the first Doctor Strange. Maybe it's because it's Spider-Man swinging through it, but there's a one-take sequence where he's going through the mirror dimension as things change around him, and I can't wrap my head around the VFX artist who did that.
I think they
did
able to do more with it this time.
Like how did they do that? Because it is it's insane. It really is. You have to see it. The visuals of how the multiverse looks are insane.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then also in the multiverse, he uses his he's like, this is just geometry. Like,
Yeah.
like that's perfect.
Yeah, a lot of seeing the street smarts. You get to finally say the great power and responsibility line is finally said, which it doesn't necessarily have to be, but it does a lot.
Yeah, and then I
It
think
does a lot.
everything with Andrew mentioning Gwen was really good
Gwen,
as well.
there's the moment in the trailer everyone kind of predicted this would happen. Didn't make it any less incredible. Where Tom can't save MJ, but he does, and then he starts to get really emotional.
I think it was just his reaction was the best part of that.
Yeah, which is a common thing. I think a lot of people acknowledge that death or anything like that is sold by the person who reacts, and that is continuously done in this movie because Tom, Andrew, and Toby they're fucking incredible. Who else could play Spider-Man but those three people? I mean, nobody
except for me.
No. So the fight's visceral. This is a Spider-Man story, truly. It's a culmination. Seeing Toby, anything he says, it reminds you of the journey he went through in his trilogy. Same with Andrew. And it's just it's perfect. The cinematography is incredible. Every side character is, I think, perfectly used. None are underused. None are overused. They all are in character. There's not obsessive jokes. The drama is there. It is one of, if not the best MCU movie, and it is definitely top 2 Spider-Man movies. It's incredible.
Definitely.
So now we can talk about the future of Spider-Man in this super long fucking video. Starting with the end. It hurts. It hurts
really
a little bit.
And then the happy scene.
It's there. So at the very end, of course, everyone has to forget. He seemingly can win back MJ. They have a connection there. But what's very sad to me is there's a final shot before he leaves after talking to MJ of Ned. It's how do you rekindle that? Mm-hmm. I think he truly may have lost Ned at this point.
Yeah, I think the saddest part is that if you go back to the first movie, Peter and Ned were their own.
Yeah.
They're the only. Neither of them had any other friends.
Yeah, they stuck by each other, thick and thin, and they've probably been friends as long as they know.
It's like if I lost you, Jack.
That's what I've been thinking. I'm it's just they lose so much history. It's really sad. I think the only part where I may have lost my cool a little bit was the goodbye scene between the three of them. It's really well done, really well acted. And then, but future's bright. Oh yeah, well then of course the happy scene. Happy and him are no longer friends, and I think that they really, obviously from Homecoming to where they were in this movie, have come a long way.
Yeah.
So it's just super. It's bittersweet, but it's bittersweet because of the final moments of this movie, which Spider-Man, baby. He moves into an apartment, a crappy apartment, by himself, and then he puts up a little Emperor Palpatine to remember Ned, and then he, using those machines you have in fact, a sewing machine, makes his own red and blue Spider-Man suit.
And it looks so fucking good.
And he has an incredible final swing, as all the best Spider-Man movies do, through a Christmassy, snowy New York.
We should have seen an up-close shot of it, though.
It's beautiful. The swinging is incredibly well choreographed, and the future looks bright. He's in the MCU, which I'm happy about, but he's on his own now. Doctor Strange doesn't know him.
People know Spider-Man, they just don't know who Spider-Man is, and they don't know.
It's seemingly the Avengers who were at an Endgame don't remember that Spider-Man was there. I think that's the idea. Maybe if it's people who know Spider-Man.
Well, Happy was I knew her through Spider-Man, and
yeah, I don't know, but yeah, either way, for Peter Parker, that's all erased.
Yeah, Peter Parker.
He was never really there at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I really like how it's done. It's he's in the MCU. There's a chance he gets to interact with Daredevil maybe in the future, but he doesn't have as strong connections.
Yeah.
So. And the post-credit scenes weren't incredibly mind-blowing. There's the first one is funny. It's Tom Hardy learning about the MCU, I guess, as a whole. And then gets put back in his universe, which is a whole nother mess we may talk about in the future. But leaves a bit of the Venom symbiote.
And then, so Venom's coming. And then also we got a trailer.
Trailer for Multiverse of Madness. It's not like too official of a trailer. It's not like when they drop.
Yeah, there was kind of a little bit of cutting around.
Yeah, a lot of cutting around. It's very like teasy, but it looks like a ton of fun, and it looks to have a similar tone to this.
Mm-hmm. But it seems I was surprised at like how it seems like they're gonna go for a horror aspect.
It's horror. It's dark, and excitingly, Mordo seems to be the villain, which by what he says in the trailer, I don't know how I didn't think of it. It makes so much sense. Fits right in place. So. Future is looking bright for not only Spider-Man, but also the multiversal side of the MCU. So much coming. We got freshman year coming, which may kind of help contextualize some of this. And
that's probably why that we'll get one in 3 years, because we're getting another Spider-Man thing coming.
Yeah. But I mean, come on, guys. Like Sony,
give us a movie with Tobey, give us a movie with Andrew,
Amazing Spider-Man 3,
another
Spider-Man
trilogy.
4, again, I guess 2 Spider-Man 4s.
Yeah. It's going to be kind of confusing for marketing, but it's okay.
No, it's Spider-Man 4 and then Spider-Man
No, I just need
Home.
I need the trilogy now, the new trilogy now.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Right now. You hear that?
I'm just curious.
You hear how this man hated on Tom Holland like just a couple days ago?
Yeah. And
this is how good that movie is.
I stand by it still.
This is how good this movie is.
But like, it's just... I'm curious of where they're going to go. I hope they don't drop the MJ and Ned thing right away.
I don't think they will.
I hope they don't.
We'll see about
Because
that.
I feel like they kind of learned their lesson with Far From Home when they did that with Aunt May, kind of. When she finds out, they kind of dropped the importance of it.
We'll see about Ned, though. I don't know about Ned. I'm kind of nervous.
Well,
Well,
Tom wanted Harry to come in.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm really hoping they do go that way. Maybe have Gwen Stacy, then they can always come back to MJ then as well.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. As of right now, we got
A plus. 10 out of 10.
plus.
Well, 5. I guess 5 out of 5. Let's
5 out of 5. Yeah.
keep it consistent here.
Just a great movie. You guys have to go see it.
It is a must see. It is fucking incredible.
I just can't stress enough that you have to go see it in theaters. Like you can't.
Oh yeah,
wait.
definitely in theaters. Don't wait. COVID isn't real. That's a joke.
Like, you got to see it soon so that the audience is all hyped too.
Yeah, we had a great audience too.
Mm-hmm.
Some good claps in there. But yeah, anything else, John?
That's it.
That is Spider-Man No Way Home out now. That sounds like an advertisement for the movie. Tell us what you thought down below. Like, subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Warward Podcast. Check us out anywhere you listen to podcasts at Warward Podcast for more exclusive content. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Goodbye.